independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Looming above everything, the 2020 campaign. The president also knows that the worst thing that can happen to him politically is a recession. Since the Civil War, only one president has won re-election if a recession has happened in the last 2 calendar years of his term. That was William McKinley back in 1900. So there's a little bit of history hanging over all.
Yeah, and that's not good right there. If you're Trump, you're looking around, you're saying, sweet mama jamma, I got to figure something out. This thing goes south. We are screwed. That's the reality of it. We talk about it all the time. That's the reality of it. And the Fed has not helped him. I will give him that. And yesterday with the yield, if you guys don't know what happened yesterday, the 2-year bond actually was paying out higher than the 10-year. Normally the 10-year pays out higher. It went inverted. It's just simple. I'm just trying to explain it to you simple because your money's going to be there longer, and there's risk there, so you should expect to get more. It was inverted for just a moment yesterday. Last time that happened, obviously we had issues, but last time that happened, and I try to explain this to people, interest rates were way higher. So it was easy. It was much harder to get to that point where they inverted. This time it wasn't so much. So we got to take that into account. But here's the other thing. Trump is Trump. And I think a lot of people are getting over it. I talked to a couple of people yesterday who are diehard in-the-wool Republicans, and they're over it. People ask me all the time. I said, look, I didn't vote for the guy. I want him to succeed. And if you want your president to fail because you don't like the party he's in, that is as asinine as it gets. Talk about un-American, right? If Hillary was president, I would want her to succeed, right? Trump at times is a clown. At times he's a troll. At times he is just, he's a lot. He is. He is. Do I want him to win? I just want the best person to win who's got the best set of ideas that are out there. I'm also an action person. A lot of times people talk a lot of game and they don't back it up, right? Some of the stuff Trump has done, I've liked, and he's taken some things on that other people won't do. And let's be 100% honest, whether you like Trump or don't like Trump, and again, I'm not a huge fan of a lot of this stuff. I will say this, to say that the media has been 100% fair with Trump, you're lying to yourself. Throw all of those things out. If we head into a recession, he's done. He's done. He could build 2 walls, and it wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter. It just wouldn't. That's the reality of it. So we'll see. He got other news today that I'm sure he's not stoked about.
President Trump's disapproval rating has jumped to 56% in a Fox News survey, just 1 point shy of the record high in Fox News polling. The survey found a 5 percentage point increase in Trump's disapproval from last month. The only time his disapproval rating was higher, according to Fox News, was when it reached 57% in October 2017. 43% of respondents said they approve of Trump's job performance, down from 46% last month.
Yeah. Somebody just texted me and said, Trump's a hot mess. Yeah, he is a hot mess right now. And he's fighting. And my sources, who are close, tell me they've got some issues, some serious issues right now that they're dealing with. So is it the beginning of the end? I don't know, because Trump, on numerous occasions, you don't bet against him because he has pulled himself out of the fire, and we have a long way to go. We could head into a recession that lasts a quarter, and then it could take off again, and we could be going gangbusters and see 3-4% growth. And the next thing you know, we're like, okay, well, that was a weird anomaly. Something happened there. He has pulled himself out of the fire on numerous occasions. Here's one thing I will tell you. You can mark this down. Put this on the tape, kids. If Trump looks up in 6 months and we've got a recession, we're struggling, don't be surprised where he says, I've had enough. Don't be. And if I'm the Republicans, because a lot of people are talking about, hey, are they somebody going to primary him? And there's talk out there, by the way. I talked to 2 congressmen, persons, non-binary, super kind of binary, pretend flesh, could be robots, not robots, but they represent people as congresspeople, who said there are a few Republicans out there that are throwing down the idea of actually primarying him. That's not Bill Weld. So we'll see. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. More controversy. This time, two ladies of both Americans, by the way, right? Whether people want to believe that or not. Not fans of Israel, not fans of Trump, part of the squad. We're told today, nah, you don't need to come to Israel.
Well, now the decision is official. According to a spokesman for Israel's Deputy Foreign Minister Tzipi Hotovely, Israel has now decided to bar entry to Democratic Congresswomen Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar. Let's not forget these are two Muslim congresswomen, and Tlaib herself is the first congresswoman of Palestinian origin. Well, the decision now official, as I said. Israel will bar them entry, will not allow them in. They were scheduled to arrive tomorrow night.
Yeah, they were scheduled to arrive. They're not going to be coming. A lot of people are blaming Trump. Now, a few years ago, they passed a law in Israel that if you are critics of Israel, that they could bar you from coming. And look, Michael Savage. I'm not a huge fan of Michael Savage, right? Radio host. He is barred from going to Great Britain, right? You know, he's hoping that Boris here gets him out of jail free card so he can go over to Britain. It's not unheard of. But politically, let's be real.
It was the deputy foreign minister who first made these comments on Israel radio, and she was the first Israeli official to acknowledge that a decision had been made. But there were no details about, first, who made the final decision and when it was made. What we do know is that it came just minutes after President Donald Trump tweeted that Israel would be showing, quote, great weakness by allowing them in, and that may have forced Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's hand.
Yep, and that's exactly probably why he did it. And for me, I wouldn't have done it. They're they're part of the BDS movement, which is, about divesting in Israel and not investing in Israel and boycotting and stuff like that. I understand that. And Israel's got every right to do what they want to do. It's their country. I'd have brought them over, though, right? It's like people who don't go to the White House to meet Trump because you can't stand Trump. And that's where you're going to, rather than do that, you go over there. You talk to him. Right? Even if it's just a 2-minute talk. The same thing. Tlaib, Omar, I want you guys to come over here and see this, right? We're not the evil that you think we are, and understand why we do the things that we do. But yeah, don't tell me Trump didn't have a hand in that. Of course he did. Come on now. Please. It's all political. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. I will tell you this. His neck is broken. The controversy's going nowhere. Huh, Epstein?
A source with knowledge of the autopsy told ABC News Jeffrey Epstein sustained a broken hyoid bone when he hanged himself with a bedsheet inside his cell at the Manhattan Correctional Center. The office of the chief medical examiner here declined to comment, but cautioned against taking a single finding out of context. We're told there is still nothing to suggest Epstein died in any other manner than suicide. The autopsy was completed Sunday, but the results are pending more information from the federal investigation.
Yeah, now, in younger people, that bone that was broke there, that you would find that more not in hanging but in murder and strangulation kind of situation. In older people, they say they find this is more common. But the controversy, he couldn't have done it. It's no way. It's so funny to watch that controversy. And speaking of weird, so yesterday I tweeted it out, and if you guys haven't seen it, check it out. It's very interesting. There's a picture apparently that Epstein has in one of his ginormous palaces that is Bill Clinton in a blue dress. And it's the why. Like, why would anybody in God's name have that? Simple. Because he's weird. That was kind of it, right? Did we not get that? Maybe he thought it was funny. Maybe it was somebody else. And he told the artist, put Bill Clinton's face on it. It'll be hilarious. I don't know. It's just kind of a bizarre thing. And I'm like, what in God's... Why is the best... Like, why would you do that? Oh, my God. This is what happens when some people have just too much money and you're a creep. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You could tweet at us. Got some net worths. We're going to be running through the net worth of some of the people that are running in 2020 to be president of these here United States of America. We'll work our way up. Tulsi Gabbard, $500,000. It's according to Forbes. Julian Castro, $700,000. Peter Buttigieg, $100,000. Tim Ryan, $500,000. And Andrew Yang we'll get to in a little bit, but it's interesting to find out what his net worth is. 323-538-2423, at Chad Benson Show, Twitter, tweet at us. What do you think? Is this it for Trump? I mean, if we go into a recession, is he done for? I think he is. Winning, if you will, strong economy will mask the odor of chaos and craziness, right? It is the Photoshop of reality. That's what it is. We'll see. We will see. But it is the Photoshop of reality. If we are in a situation where we see a pullback and a slowdown, but if I'm the Democrats, and you got to think about this for just a second. If I'm the Democrats, you running somebody uber left talking about how you're going to tax in the middle of a potential recession is not the recipe for success. What did Winston Churchill said? Sir Winston Churchill said, taxing yourself out of a recession is like trying to pull yourself up while you're standing in a bucket. So, yeah, that's something to think about. 323-538-2423, at Chad Benson Show, Twitter. Mike Lindell, CEO, founder of MyPillow, is doing something amazing, incredible right now. And I'm telling you guys, for my listeners, he wants to say thank you. How about this? Up to 50% off everything they have. Mattress toppers, check. The mattress topper is amazing. It is so amazing. My pillows, yep. Bed sheets, yep. All of that stuff. And here's something else that is incredible. More than 50% off for their body pillow. Normally it's $90, now $29.99 with promo code Benson. You're going to love it. Their products are amazing. They come with a 10-year warranty and a 60-day money-back guarantee. So how do you get all these amazing deals? Simple. Go to MyPillow.com, click on the radio listener special, and use my code Benson. Or call 800-983-4975 and save up to 50%, including the body pillow for only $29.99. Enter promo code Benson for these great listener specials for the best night's sleep. Call 800-983-4975. Visit MyPillow.com. And remember, use my promo code Benson. Chad Benson Show.
Take a fake news break. Check out the really important news of the day at our website, ChadBensonShow.com. Once there, click on Chad's free podcast and get real. The Chad Benson Show, where truth and the American way live. Print free.
We are now seeing a buildup of Chinese armored vehicles and military exercises taking place just across the border from this former British colony that now answers to communist China. And now China's ambassador to the UK is warning Beijing will, in his words, not sit on his hands while protesters drag Hong Kong down a dangerous road. He says Beijing has enough power to quell any protest quickly.
Yeah. Translation, we're going to crush you if you try anything. This is how we roll. This is how we roll. And we'll see how the world reacts. We'll see what Trump does. Right? Like, what are you going to do? I'm curious, Trump. What are you going to do? And what's the rest of the world? I'm not just looking singularly at us. I'm looking at the rest of the free world. What are you guys going to do? What are we all collectively going to do if they decide we're going to crack down and we're turning this into Beijing? They're going to follow all of our rules. We're going to limit their freedoms. And we're going to take their businesses. What then? I'm curious. I think it's a very curious thing to see the way that people, I'm curious about what's the EU do, right? What do the World Trade Organization partners do? How do we stand there and let this happen, right? Yeah, it's yours, kind of, but the promises you've made, like you've made by the way, all of the promises you've made. We see how those things go. And we realize, too, because that's no secret, what you guys want to do with the globe and what happens then. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. It's your Twitter. You can tweet at us. You know what's funny? So we were talking about Trump, and it's so interesting to watch the way people react when you talk about stuff, right? When you bring data to it. So we were talking about Trump, and I got like 4 or 5 text messages. You're a jerk. I hate you. I'm never going to listen to you again. It's fine. That's who you want affirmation of your belief, right? You want affirmation of your belief. That's all you want. And it is amazing. I did a Facebook Live today, and I got so many people like, I'm never going to talk to you again. You're the worst person. You're the biggest liar, fake news, all this kind of stuff. And I just laugh because you're not interested in the what if scenario might happen. And I don't know what that is. I'm not saying we're going to have a recession. I'm not saying he's not going to get reelected. I'm saying, though, that if it does happen, if we slow down and have a recession and our fourth quarter's not good and the numbers aren't good, there's going to be issues. Oh, you're a liar. Never. Fox News is a bunch of lies. It's like you can't win. It's so funny. It's like I'm just going to keep going until I find the news that, you got to ask yourself, do you want to actually talk about things, or do you just want affirmation? Because if you want affirmation, a lot better shows to go to, right? There's shows out there. You can just go affirmate the hell out of yourself. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson. Ciao. Twitter. Are Americans really living paycheck to paycheck? We got some more of the 2020 candidates' net worth. We'll talk about that. Speaking of paycheck to paycheck, Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
I'm ending my campaign for president.
No!
I will never stop believing that America can only move forward when we work together.
Ah, the loop. The loop is out. Hickenlooper. There goes some sanity right out the window. There you go. Where you going? Out the window. Just there we go. Sanity gone. Ah, goodness me. Hickenlooper's out. We're talking about the net worth. Forbes has the net worth of all of the 2020 candidates. Andrew Yang, $1 million. He says a lot of people think I'm worth a lot more than that. Don't believe all the hype. Seth Moulton, no idea who you are. $1 million. Kristen Gildebrand, $1 million. Marion Williamson, 1.5. Steve Bullock, 1.5. Cory Booker, 1.5. Klobuchar, 2 million. Inslee, 2. And then Sanders and de Blasio, 2.5. And then we're starting to move up here. We'll touch on some of those. But, yeah, so Sanders not doing all. He's not poor, right? And one of the other things they talked about in this, as far as their net worth and stuff like that, is what they don't take into account is the pensions and a lot of the other goodies, if you will, that the political world has in store for them upon retirement. So not all of them are coming from that world. And you'll see the top 3. No, they made a lot more money coming from a different place. So we'll see. But that's still pretty decent. I mean, 2.5 million. Bernie, not bad for a socialist. Not bad for an old socialist. Right? You're doing all right there, right? 2.5 million, 2.5 million, 2.5 million. He just bought what did he buy? Did he buy a new, like, lakefront home? That's not bad, right? You're doing okay. And I don't begrudge him it, by the way. I do not begrudge him at all buying something like that. I don't begrudge anybody making money, no matter how much money they make. There's an article today out about what CEOs make today comparatively what they made, back in even the 90s, but going all the way back to the 70s. CEOs in the 70s made on average about 20 times what the average worker made. Now that's closer to 278 times as much, which is huge. And there's that. But some of the stuff that they don't touch on in this is the fact that so much now is tied to compensation based on options and stocks and things, where back in the 70s, going public wasn't a big thing like it is now, right? It wasn't. And some of those things can be really skewed. So, you'll see CEOs that get, they make $300 million in a year, and then you're like, well, wait a minute, their base salary is $1 million, and they have all these options that they can exercise. So, that's all tied to it. If the stock falls to nothing, what do you have? Nothing. So it's tied to certain performance based. And some CEOs just negotiate ridiculous pay packages. It's funny, though, how we look at a CEO. So we look at somebody who's like a pharma CEO or an insurance CEO, and you find out that they make $250 million over a 4 or 5 year period, and they're retiring, and they get like $150 million in stock options. We're like, you're a bad person. And then a basketball player signs a contract, and they make $250, $300 million, and we're just like, nobody blinks at that. Stars, we don't blink at that. They're not bad. Well, it's different. Why? Because why? Just because it's different. Okay. Well, there you go. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at me. Yesterday, horrific situation in Philadelphia that ended, by the way, with the surrendering of the person who shot 6 police officers. And people were surprised.
I am surprised that he came out, because he was indicating to some that he wasn't going to do that, and that he was not going back.
Yeah, and that was it. They tried to, in Nicetown, Tioga, by the way, they had a warrant for his arrest, and they were coming for him. Apparently it was a narcotics warrant. He was ready to roll, and he shot 6 officers. Another officer was wounded or injured on the way there in a car accident. All the officers are going to survive. They're all going to be fine. And it was a standoff for quite a while. And the fact that they even got him, like I said, they got him to come out. And it seemed like they were going to come after him hardcore. And while all this is going on, Kamala Harris is on television, right, talking about all kinds of stuff, and she reacts to it.
When will it stop, right? I mean, part of my focus on what we need to do around smart gun safety laws is recognize that we have to have more enforcement around gun dealers. 90% of the guns that are associated with crime are sold by just 5% of the gun dealers in the United States. And so among the many plans that I have, both in the form of executive action and also in the form of legislation, one of them is to put more resources into the ATF to take the licenses of gun dealers who violate the law. And that includes a number of things, including when they're responsible for doing background checks, not doing them.
And how do we do that, right? Like, how do we ban private sales? I mean, how do we go about doing some of these things that these people want to do? And there's no easy answer, and we still don't drill down on certain things, right? We don't drill down on certain, and it's funny because a guy did something horrific, a killer in El Paso or in Dayton, and we're talking about taking away the guns. And here's a guy that's a drug dealer, and where that discussion isn't as because we know that he didn't get hit. We know he didn't purchase his gun the way that everybody else goes and purchases his gun. Right? We get that. Stolen, it's black market. There's ways to get it. You got a straw man, somebody going and buying a ton of it's a tough thing for us to talk about, but guns are going to be front and center. And Congress can do all they want, but I'm telling you, here's the reality of it is, first of all, nobody trusts you. Can we all just agree that nobody trusts our government? There's a reason that we have our Second Amendment, and it was mostly to protect ourselves from ourselves.
Let's be clear. I have hugged too many mothers of homicide victims over the years. I have looked at more autopsy photographs than I care to tell you of people whose lives have been ended because of gun violence. We need Congress to act. We do not lack for good ideas. We do not lack for tragedies. The failure of Congress, however, the United States Congress, to act on passing smart gun safety laws is the issue.
But what are the smart gun safety laws that you are going to put into effect that are going to fix this? Is it about taking guns away, or is it about trying to prevent bad things from happening by people that are desperate and dangerous, who potentially are sick or are full of hate? Because what I hear is our goal is to, and this is what I was trying to explain to somebody yesterday. I never hear, hey, how do we fix the problem of people who want to do bad things? What do we do? How do we identify them and truly reach down? All I hear is, well, we'll take his gun away. Okay. So you took his gun away. Does it mean that if he's that hell-bent on killing a bunch of people, that that's where it ends? That magically he's like, well, I was going to do it, but now you did that, I'm not going to do it anymore. We're still not drilling deep, deep down, trying to figure it out. We're too busy, again, playing this virtue signaling, politically correct, this looks great, red flag stuff, but we're not digging deep down to find out why people feel the way they do, why there's a certain amount of people that are disenfranchised in certain places, how we can get some of that together, and we also have to be very real. It's not going to solve everything. Period. It's not. There are still going to be people that do bad things. No matter what we try, no matter how hard we work, no matter what we go and institute, even if it's bipartisan, we all agree, something bad will still happen because people will figure it out. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. If you guys haven't heard, Tlaib and Omar were supposed to be heading out to Israel. There's already some politicians in Israel, and they're told, nah, you guys can't come. You guys are barred from coming here. So because of your criticism and the want of boycotts of Israel, you two are not welcomed.
Swift reaction from Democratic leaders after, at the president's urging, the Israeli government decided to block two congresswomen from entering the country. Representatives Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib had previously been embroiled in controversy over comments they've made about Israel. The Senate's top Democrat, though, blasted Israel's decision, calling the move a sign of weakness, not strength. Well, Representative Jerry Nadler tweeted it, quote, undermines the ability for our two allied countries to have the frank, open, and at times difficult discussions. While leader Steny Hoyer's office called it a grave mistake that undermines the bipartisan pro-Israel consensus.
Yeah, I don't think it's a smart thing, but I'm not Israel. And if that's what they want to do, it's their country. Do I think Trump had a hand in it? Absolutely. But it is their country. And if this is something they feel that they need to do, they already have a law on the books that says that if you are a critic of Israel, that they can bar you from coming. Right? So there you go. They are critics of Israel. But I think they should have respected, as allies, who they are and allowed them to come and show them, hey, look, you think we're this evil, bad thing? Let's talk about it. Everybody's got a part to play in this thing. And I think when we do stuff like this, that's not good. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show was your Twitter. Somebody just tweeted at me, said I sound like I'm auditioning for MSNBC because of the doom and gloom for Trump. It's not that. Look, you guys want honesty. I think you guys do. Right? I feel like you do. So I want to be honest. I'm not saying a recession's coming. Retail numbers are pretty good, right? I told you earlier about the, inverted yield and the curve and the way that went and why it was much easier this time than when it happened because of the interest rates. I'm not saying it's coming. And I'm saying, but what I am saying is if it does show up, Trump's chance for re-election got a whole lot worse, and he's going to have a tough time. I don't care what anybody says. It is going to be a very tough race, even if the economy's good, because a lot of people are just sick and tired of all of the insanity. But you throw that in coupled with a recession, and no, I don't think he can win. 323-538-2423. That there is the text line. Every day, thousands of dogs are euthanized. I'm working with an organization that's amazing. They're changing lives in ways that are so just incredible and heartwarming when you see the stories. And I want you guys to go to their website. It's woundedpawproject.org. 20 veterans a day commit suicide. We've got not only our veterans, but we've got our first responders and their families who struggle with things like PTSD, loneliness, just trying to get back on their feet, so many different things. They go and rescue these shelter dogs. They turn them into service dogs, and they get them to the people that need them desperately. And the way it changes lives is just amazing. They need your help. If you got an unwanted vehicle, doesn't matter if it flies or floats, they'll pick it up, they'll take it. You're going to get an amazing tax-deductible gift. Top of that, they take cash. Little things like this go a long way in changing lives. Check it out for yourself. Go to woundedpawproject.org. That's woundedpawproject.org. Or call 844-678-4PAW or woundedpawproject.org. You'll be saving a paw to save a life. Chad Benson Show.
If you're part of the politically exhausted majority, don't fear. Your time to be validated and rejuvenated is here. Wake up. It's the Chad Benson Show.
There have even been some who've suggested that I stay in Texas and run for Senate. But that would not be good enough for this community. That would not be good enough for El Paso. That would not be good enough for this country. We must take the fight directly to the source of this problem, that person who has caused this pain and placed this country in this moment of peril, and that is Donald Trump.
Beto. He fixing his campaign, right? Got off to a great start. Vanity Fair, the chosen one. He seemed a natural, and then somewhere along the line, he went on this giant, huge apology tour, and just he became awful and just insufferable. So he's redoing his campaign, re-kicking it off today. And we're going over the net worths of some of the people that are running for president of the United States. So Beto's worth $4 million. Joe Sestak is worth $6 million. Kamala Harris, $6 million. Now we get to the top 6. Biden's worth $9 million. Elizabeth Liawatha Warren's worth $12 million. She's doing all right. She's doing good. Michael Bennet is worth $15 million. Now we get to the big 3. John Delaney, still in the race, holding on, but he's got $200 million. She's taken 2 companies public. $200 million. Next, Tom Steyer, best friend of our producer, Phil, gets at least 6,000 emails, and most of them are begging to at least send $1 in so he can get on the stage. He's worth $1.6 billion. And last but least, the man at the top, Donald Trump, worth $3.1 billion, according to Forbes, right now. So, yeah, you've got, look, Elizabeth Warren, Michael Bennet, Joe Biden, they're worth some money. Kamala Harris, $6 million. You would consider that to have a little bit of wealth. Now it's not $200 million, $1.6 billion, or $3.1 billion, but you're not starving. That's for darn sure. And $12 million, how many of you out there would be like, yeah, I'd take that. I'd take that in a heartbeat. I know you would. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. So a guy in Tennessee is going to be executed later today. His name's Stephen West. He was convicted of killing a mother and daughter 20 plus years ago, and he's requested. I guess they give you request. You can request which way you want to go. He has chosen the electric chair. Some people say, and I don't know who those people are, that it's less painful than the cocktail of 3, but he would like to go via the electric chair. And Tennessee, this will be the 5th person. They are going to oblige him on that. Governor said, yeah, we're not going to commute your sentence or anything. There's no clemency here. Potential. Some people say the reason he did this is because he wanted longer, and this would delay it potentially. But Tennessee's like, nah. We'll listen to your appeal after you're dead. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. Twitter and Instagram, kids. Insto to the gram. That's what the kids call it nowadays. I just call it the IG. Because I want to be different than the kids, yet I still kind of want to be cool. Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
The things that they've said, Omar, Tlaib, what they've said is disgraceful. So I can't imagine why Israel would let them in.
Well, they're not, because you told them not to, and they're like, okay, we won't. Even AIPAC, right? So this is American Israel. I mean, this is, here is this big, giant, huge pro-Israel group is no. This is silly. This is stupid. I think it's stupid. I think it's ridiculous. I do. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. I think they should be there. How else can you have a dialogue and a conversation? And that's what you should be. Show them around. Have a conversation. Have a dialogue. Bring them there. But you didn't want to do that. And Trump said something, and you jumped on it, and away we go.
You have lists of, this isn't just a one-line mistake. What they've said about Israel and Jewish people is a horrible thing, and they've become the face of the Democrat Party.
Well, some of that's true. They have become somewhat of the face, at least for a little while, but they're all on vacation. We've all kind of forgotten, and this happened today, and I just think it's stupid. I think it's absolutely stupid. I don't think that, this is part of that problem of how we can't have a conversation in this country. And now, in saying that, look, Israel can do what they want to do, right? Israel can do what they want to do. They have a law in place that they passed a few years ago. The people that are critical of Israel and support certain things, that they can ban them from coming there. We ban people from coming here, right? England right now, or Great Britain, has banned, I think, Michael Savage from coming there. So, yeah, I mean, that happens. In saying that, don't you want to show them? Don't you want to have a conversation with them? I think you would. But you didn't. Netanyahu said after you tweeted something, he said, yeah, they're not coming. There you go.
The Palestinian president is slamming Israel's decision to bar Democratic House members Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib from visiting Israel and the West Bank. Mohammed Shtaya called the decision racist and incompatible with democracy. Dangerous is how one Israeli Arab lawmaker, Ahmed Tibi, put it. Lots of criticism also from Israeli politicians. Centrist Yair Lapid calling Netanyahu's ban a mistake that will only strengthen the boycott Israel movement and damage Israel's ties with the Democratic Party.
Yeah, I think there's something to that. And again, I understand that you may not be fans of them. I got zero problem with that. I don't think anybody else does. Right? I don't think anybody else does. My issue is have a conversation. It's like the people who don't want to meet Trump. I refuse to meet Trump, and that's going to be my thing. Okay, fine, then don't. But I say do. I say go have a conversation. And this is an opportunity for you to have two women who have been supporters of BDS, the boycott and divestment movement, and have been supporters of Palestine. And you had a chance to maybe sit down with them and show them some things that are a little bit different and put a face on it that's not Netanyahu, that's not the Israeli army. But you didn't want to do that. And you jumped for Trump. So there you go. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. He is alive. He is well. But he almost died. Dale Earnhardt Jr. and his family flying around in one of those planes that cost a lot of money, but I won't get on.
Preliminary indication is that 2 pilots and 3 passengers were aboard this plane, and we do note that this was Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s plane. His wife was also aboard, as well as their child, according to his mother and social media reports from his mother this afternoon.
Isn't that weird, right? All those years in a race car, and you almost die flying an airplane.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. was transported to the Johnson City Medical Center. That's our closest trauma center, but I did observe him before he left, and he appeared to be fine. He was alert, communicating with EMS personnel.
Yeah. Junior almost died. Junior. My God, it's nuts. You think about it for a second. That's crazy, right? It's so weird. It's like the, oh God, what's his name? The crocodile hunter. All the years roaming around the world, doing the things that he did, right? All of those things. How did he die? He got killed by a stingray, which aren't known to be super, very aggressive unless you step on them, and it was a 1 in a quadrillion thing. Wow. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us and check out the Instagram as well. I've got a picture of my cat. You don't know who he is. Threador. 3 is his name. So check it out. He is, let's just say he is relaxing big time. Because that's his life. That's what he does. Today, the stock market held a little bit steady. Everybody breathing a little bit easier, but trying to figure out exactly what is going to happen moving forward. Are we headed towards a recession? I think everybody knows listening right now, recession is bad for a president. It is bad in a big way. And I talked a bit about it yesterday, about where we could be heading as far as a recession goes and who could be taking us there. And it could be us.
If financial markets believe this time isn't different, you can have a self-fulfilling prophecy, and that's the risk out there, is that we've got a lot of factors that are becoming very toxic for the global economy, and it doesn't take much to take a toxic environment and make it combustible.
This is Miss Walk right there from a big company, Grant Thornton Thompson, who's a big microeconomic person. She gets it. And I said yesterday, a little bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy as we move forward, that we're almost talking our way into it. And Trump is out today tweeting, blaming everybody, else. Look, we've got some issues that we need to address in the economy. We've had a slowdown. We've got a trade fight going on that is more than just trade itself. There's a lot to it when it comes to China, but you've got a ton of unrest still in places like Hong Kong, which that's not going anywhere anytime soon. On top of all of that stuff, you've got some other countries in Europe that have had some signals that they too could be heading into a slowdown. And how bad could it be? Well, if you're running for re-election, it can get ugly.
Looming above everything, the 2020 campaign. The president also knows that the worst thing that can happen to him politically is a recession. Since the Civil War, only one president has won re-election if a recession has happened in the last 2 calendar years of his term. That was William McKinley back in 1900. So there's a little bit of history hanging over all of this.
he'd be number 2. And we're not there yet. People got on me today because I pointed out the Fox News poll. And everybody freaked out. I was the person who put the poll together. Like, what a jerk I am that you hate the president. And a lot of those MAGA people, I tell you what, I have to be honest with you. when all this is over, whether it's in a year and a half or so or 6 years, I'm not going to be bummed to see a lot of these people go, because it's just there's a certain cult of personality with some of these people where it doesn't matter, right? Like, they love Fox, and then he says we should hate Fox because their polls are awful. Then they hate Fox. It's like, make up your own mind. But the poll today is, look, that people aren't thrilled by the way that Trump's handling some of this stuff. And some of that might be the gun situation that talked about, but Fox also has another poll out. We're going to talk about guns a little bit that I think is pretty stunning when you break down the numbers. But people get mad at me. Look, I'm here. I'm going to give you my straight, honest truth, looking at data. Don't shoot the messenger. You can hate my opinion. I got zero problems with that. But somebody just told me to shut the blank up or else. Or else what? What are you going to do? I'm just curious. What are you going to do? You're mad because what? Because the debt is continuing to rise, because the economy right now is having some issues. It's crazy. Man, I tell you what. We got some codependent enablers out there when it comes to certain things. It's nuts. It is. It is absolutely crazy. Doesn't matter. You could lose your job. You could lose everything. And you figure out a way to blame it on. Like, people today were like, well, the stock market's crashing. That's Obama's fault. I'm like, where did you get that? Well, it just is, right? Because it is his fault. It's like, wow, there's no reasoning. You can't have a conversation. You can't. I told my son the other day, don't argue with stupid. You can't. You argue with intelligence, you debate intelligence, but don't debate or argue with stupid, because you will never change certain people's minds because they don't want to know anything else. They're happy in their little world. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. Twitter. AOC was on a podcast, said something interesting. I know. She can't say anything interesting, Chad. She's stupid. Settle down. We'll talk about that. Plus, new poll out when it comes to a certain type of gun. Wonder what it says. Chad Benson Show.
You go, boy.
This isn't about right or left. This is just about right and wrong.
Right you are, Chad. The Chad Benson Show.
It's time for the United States Senate to vote on a background check bill, but also not to forget about and not to push off for another day, finally, at long last, a ban on military-style assault weapons, which are weapons of war that should not be on our streets.
First of all, you talk to anybody who's in the military, they'll say, those are not weapons. We don't use those weapons. We don't use any of those weapons. But they could be. Well, yeah, anything could be. But when we talk about this, let's have real conversations. Let's break things down and say, all right, let's treat everything, not just one thing. That's Senator Bob Casey of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, USAAmerica.com. Of course, yesterday you had what? An incident again. 6 officers shot. All of them will survive. Trying to serve what? A warrant for somebody who's a bad guy who had guns. He has a 12-page rap sheet. 12 pages. 12 pages. But he had a gun. I know. How'd he get it? Well, it had to be the shooting in California. The highway patrolman. It's a ghost gun. They can't trace it. They have no idea how he got it, where he got it, any of those things. Ghost. Bad people will get a hold of things. That's just it. But we're not talking about bad people. I think we all know bad people will get a hold of stuff. Our big thing is, how do we stop the crazy, the angry, the pissed off, who otherwise have never done anything, right? They've never done anything. They may be pissed and angry, but they've never done anything. They don't have 12 pages of crime to their name. They've just flown under the radar, and it's bubbling up. That's what we're talking about. right? I think, and that's the thing that I think we need to remember. What we're really talking about is how do we stop the idiot in El Paso or the guy in Dayton, who, by the way, they found a lot of stuff, antidepressants, cocaine, he had a lot of stuff inside of him. How do they get to that point? What's going on in their lives? Can we even fix it, right? Is it even fixable? Right? Are they just so far gone, so angry, so pissed off at the world? Some people are mentally ill, but most of them aren't. A good majority of them aren't. Well, why are they pissed and angry? That's the question. New Fox poll. Get ready for this. Fox is, man, tell you what, for all the talk of the craziness, right, of MSNBC and CNN always say Fox is just a bunch of right-wing hate. Know this, that while I don't watch any of them, minus their primetime shows, which they all go up against each other, when it talks about the news and the poll, at least there's somewhat. You're not going to find anything on the left side of the aisle, any of these other, on CNN or MSNBC, that will give you any kind of like thing that would be for Republicans or for the president. But the new Fox poll, first of all, doesn't have Trump in a good light. But when they're talking about guns, and again, after the shootings, so this is emotion. Most people favor getting rid of these weapons. They call them assault weapons. Most people, 2/3, support a ban on it, including about 50% of Republicans. And the NRA is not looked at in a favorable way anymore. And all of them, 56% of people, place a great deal of blame on mass shootings on the easy access to guns and the lack of service for the mentally ill with violent tendencies. Inadequate parenting, white nationalism, and a third point to sentiments expressed by Trump and anti-immigrant sentiments, but very few say violent video games or Democratic leaders. But it's really funny, right? Because like the whole thing is with what took place in El Paso, they take it right back to Trump. The guy in Dayton, super uber lefty, socialism, love Warren, the whole nine yards, nothing. It's not the rhetoric. It's why are they pissed off? Why do they feel like losers? Why do they want to hurt people? What's a mental illness? Mental illness plays a part in about 20% of people who've done these things. So the other 80% aren't crazy. They're angry. And we need to fix that. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at me. Check us out, baby. We're doing our thing. Got the Instagram rolling. What do you think about getting rid of those guns, if you will? Does it fix anything? I don't think it does. I mean, again, Bernie Sanders said 99.9% of the people would never do anything like that. Right? So bad guys that shot at cops, killed cops, they're still going to have access. They'll figure it out. Right? So you want to take guns away from people who haven't done anything. All right? No? Well, how? What happens? Where do we go? When is enough enough? That's my fear. My fear is I don't trust you. I don't trust you. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. Your Twitter, your Gram. Check out the Chad Benson Show on Facebook as well. It is the Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
A lot of people mad. I did Facebook Live earlier. People were pissed off at me. Chad, you're talking about doom and gloom with Trump. Why you do that? MAGA, man, MAGA. I'm like, I'm not a MAGA guy. I want my president to succeed. I'm going to give you guys, this is just me, how I do it. Never fall in love with a politician. At best, fall in like. Because they're going to disappoint you at some point in time. So fall in like with them. A lot of people are sold. Man, this is it. It's the greatest of all time. I was never sold on any of that stuff. I think Trump has some good ideas. And I think some of the stuff, a lot of it resonate with people because people are frustrated. People are tired and feel like they weren't being represented and like their voices were being shut down. But not everything he touches goes to gold. But you're so negative. You sound like you're working for the Huffington Post. And somebody said you sound like you're going to audition for MSNBC. No, I want my president to succeed. I do. I don't care who it is. I said earlier, if it was Hillary, I want her to succeed. Right? That's just, yeah. Well, so you like Hillary? No, I want my president, the person that is representing us in the highest office in the land, who is the leader of the free world. I want that person to succeed. I can get behind some stuff, and some stuff I can't get behind. It's not about placating people who are pissed off at Fox, but they want there's radio shows out there that are just, they will do anything for Trump. I'm not one of those. If he does something bad and something I think is ridiculous and silly, I'm going to call him out on it. If he does something I think is good, I'm going to say it. But I'm not in love. At times I'm in like, and at other times I'm in disbelief. As far as the economy goes, people say, Chad, you're down on the economy. No, and I said it yesterday. Are we talking ourselves into a recession? Is that a possibility? I think in some ways we are, some people believe you speak it, you put it out to the world, and the more that you do it, the more there's a likelihood that is going to come true, right? And you can go back and look at through time. Whether it's through the Bible or through great prophets or whatever, there is that, if you speak it, if you say it, and you do it in mass, the potential is there. But are we there yet? No. But I said earlier, and I'll continue to say it, if we go into a recession, Trump's done. That's it. Don't shoot the messenger. That's the reality of it. And that's a big if, because we're not there yet. Retail numbers are good. I said yesterday, and I said it again, the yield that everybody's pointing at. Did you see the yield? Did you see the yield? The yield that's inverted. Da, 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 da. Last time we did this, look what happened in 08. And blah, 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 blah. Yeah. But in 08, interest rates were way different than they are now. So it was much easier yesterday for us to have that situation than it was back then. And it was momentary. But I do believe in some ways, we could be talking ourselves into something.
If financial markets believe this time isn't different, you can have a self-fulfilling prophecy, and that's the risk out there, is that we've got a lot of factors that are becoming very toxic for the global economy, and it doesn't take much to take a toxic environment and make it combustible.
Yeah, it doesn't. It does not. That's Diane Swank, who's a micro economist, one of the biggies out there. I think she works for like Grant Thornton, which is she gets it. She understands it. And she looks at the global side of things. That's something else we also have to be aware of. Right? You've got Germany. You've got England and several others right now. Brazil's having issues that are facing potentially a slowdown in their economy, which will have an effect. It will. So I'm just trying to be honest. It's weird, right? Like, because you throw stuff out there, you're like, well, I don't like that. That's real. It is. And that's what we should want from people when we're talking about stuff like this. I don't think we're there yet. I think we're going to have a good fourth quarter, and I think that could definitely propel us forward. I do. I think we are going to have a good fourth quarter. Is it going to be 3.5% growth and stuff like that? I don't know about that, but I think it's going to be good. We're not there yet. We're not dead yet. Never said any of that. But we've had a very good run, an expansion. And at some point in time, we'll get a slowdown. It's how we weather that matters. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Here's the thing I'm going to tell you. Producer Phil, if you're going to go to the airport, what's one thing before you get on an airplane you don't joke about?
Bomb.
Bomb, he says. Let's see what the answer is.
Signs posted around the Houston airport warn against joking about explosives. Well, 17-year-old Hector Fonseca didn't say anything per se, but he did post messages on Snapchat threatening to blow up the plane that he was about to board. Someone at Snapchat was watching and called the FBI. Police were waiting for the teenager when he landed back in Houston. Even the magistrate who set his bond expressed doubts that Hector was serious.
Yeah, I don't think he was serious about it. I don't know what's more scary, somebody joking about a bomb or the fact that somebody at Snapchat is watching you. I went with that one. But you don't joke about that. There are places you joke about stuff. Like, that's not one of them. Like, you don't. There's no joke about bomb. You don't joke. I told you guys my story a couple weeks ago when I flew from Phoenix to Burbank, and somebody was drunk and just an absolute asshat, and then he started making gun things, and then they dragged his ass off the airplane. You don't make jokes like that. Like, there's some stuff, some places, you can get away with some stuff. That ain't one of them. The other day this is crazy. So the other day we had that kid who taped his friend's girlfriend beating him up and yelling at him, right? And going off on him and punching him, and the kid, the guy had a broken leg and his girlfriend was just awful. And we've got it now. Turnabout is fair play. Not audio, but we do have a woman who posted stuff about her boyfriend, or her now ex-boyfriend, who, by the way, cheated on her, on some of the things and rules that she had to follow. And some of it's insane. Don't dance like a slag, which is, it's a British word, basically, like a trollop, if you will, a tramp. Don't get too drunk, right? No boys, and if anyone comes up to you and talks to you, you tell them you have a boyfriend. Rule number 4, look after your drink at all times and make sure no one puts something in it. Okay, well, that's not a bad rule, right? Like, I think that's for every woman. That's just good advice. Number 5, stick with blank or blank at all times, but you didn't by the looks of it last night. Number 6, no one but you 4 in your rooms besides blank, which is her friend's boyfriend, is allowed to be in there, but he can't sleep in there. You can't go to anybody else's room. You must let me know everything that happens and be ready to explain stories. This guy's a loser. Oh, here's my favorite one. Always send me photos of front and back of what you are wearing so I can approve and say whether or not I think you should wear it. Even when I'm asleep, text me to tell me things so I can see them in the morning. If you find time to call me or FaceTime me, please do, but let me know in advance. Also, if you can, I want a video of the room before you sleep to prove no one else is in there and you are off to sleep. The hell is wrong with people? What the hell is wrong with human beings? That's what you want? You want all of those things? Is there anything else? See, it's guys and gals crazy. Love can make you do crazy things, people. Make you do some crazy things. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at me. Text the program directly. You can even Instagram us, as the kids are going there, and we have no crazy rules, just pictures usually of Jack and I, and every once in a while a funny meme. Every once in a while. I find it weird, though, when you do memes and just some of the stuff, because, and it's so, like, for me, I pick on both sides, right? I don't care what side. I don't care if you're red or blue. I feel that everybody is kind of, you're out there and it's open season. And I'm amazed. My big fear has always been for America is we're going to lose our sense of humor. And nothing has shown me more than that in the last several years. And that's my fear of how we rot on the inside is we can't laugh at ourselves. I think if you can laugh at yourself and you can be a bit self-deprecating in a real way, it shows you how strong you are and how well things are. I don't know. Just people want to shoot the messenger. Hey, earbuds are amazing, right? I'm very particular, and for me, I don't I like great quality sound, kind of a weirdo in that way. But I've tried a lot of earbuds. Some stuff I like, they're awful. I can't stand it. Some of them have those little stems, some have wires. So Raycon came to us and said, we want you to try these things out. And I was like, all right, but I'm amazing, incredible. The sound is out of this world. Ray J gets it. He's a musician. He's a guy who was a producer in the music business. He's an entrepreneur. He saw the need because, like everybody else, right? This is the guy who puts together. This isn't engineers in a room who's like, hey, let's try these and this will go with a phone. Or they don't know. This is something specifically. This is what they do. And the E50s are incredible. Snoop Dogg, Cardi B, they all love them. And you've got to try these. Better quality sound, half the price. And right now, my listeners, that's you guys out there, you're going to save an extra 15% right there. It is amazing. So many different styles to choose from. You're going to look good, it's going to sound good, and it's going to save you money. Get yours now. Go to buyraycon.com/Chad. That's buyraycon.com/Chad. 15% off. buyraycon.com/Chad. The best earbuds around. buyraycon.com/Chad. Chad Benson Show.
Experiencing separation anxiety? That's dumb. Check out Chad 24/7 at his website, ChadBensonShow.com, and on iTunes, free. The Chad Benson Show. Never feel lonely again.
2 American Democratic congresswomen are now barred from entering Israel, and the president is okay with it. Israel's decision to bar Representative Rashida Tlaib of Michigan and Ilhan Omar of Minnesota came as the president tweeted that it should happen. President Trump said it would show great weakness if Israel allowed Omar and Tlaib to visit. Israel's prime minister weighed in, claiming the two are leading activists in boycotting legislation against Israel.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of it, but whatever. That's it. Trump and Netanyahu. People on both sides of the aisle are not happy about it, but they're not going to allow them in. There's some congressional people that are already there, and others that were supposed to arrive, I guess, tomorrow. And I just think it's a joke. Could have done better. Should have done better. Right? And that is by having the conversation. You guys don't like Israel? All right. Why? You think we're awful? We're horrible? You have this in your mind that this is what we are? These are our people. See the things that they go through. But instead of doing that, they said, no, we're not going to have you there. And it's your country, so do what you want. So I was trying to tell somebody, well, Chad, you sound, no, it's your country. Do what you want. I just would have tried to do something different. Doesn't mean you're going to change their mind. They're part of the BDS movement, Williams of Palestinian descent, and they don't believe Israel should be there. Still have a conversation. That's just me.
Federal health officials are well underway with graphic radio, TV, and print ads featuring effects of smoking.
I'm married, and I used to be a smoker.
But the government's effort to require tobacco companies to put similar warnings on packs of cigarettes has so far failed in court in 2012. The Food and Drug Administration's trying again, taking comments on 13 warnings that would include images of cancerous tumors, cadavers, and diseased lungs on packages. Most developed countries have adopted similar warning labels.
I'm married.
Did you guys remember that commercial? Those commercials for first of all, smoking's gross, but whatever. I don't judge. You do your thing, I'll do mine. But those commercials are that lady with am I married? The lady with no jaw. You're like, oh, sweet, jeez. That's some scurry right there, kids. That is some scurry. I don't know why people smoke. I've never got it. And I know vaping apparently is supposed to be very cool, right? It's just, and you know what's coming, though, at this point in time, right? You get that this is not good for you. Nobody at this point in time should be surprised. You're like, oh, are you guys serious? I thought that was a joke. No, it's real. But you guys get that, right? You know now. I just never have gotten the smoking thing. And my dad smoked, my mom smoked, my aunt smoked. I just never did. I stayed as far away from it. And I feel good about that. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at me. Feel free to do so. Please do. What's Walmart going to do with ammo?
The disclosure by Walmart CEO Doug McMillon comes in a statement attached to the retailer's second quarter financial report. He says their hearts are with associates in El Paso and South Haven, a reference to 2 recent mass shootings at Walmarts. McMillon goes on to say Walmart does not sell military-style rifles and represents just 2% of the market for firearms in this country. But he also says they have a 20% market share of ammunition. In other words, 1 out of every 5 bullets in the U.S. was sold at a Walmart.
Yeah, and I know that a lot of people that are working at Walmarts want to have them stop selling certain firearms or firearms altogether. This is how they do it. This is how they make money. And again, you're talking, 1 out of 5 bullets purchased. You're not going to get rid of that. You're just not. And I get that people are upset, and we're going to walk out. We're going to do stuff. It's a business. It's a business, and they feel like, you know what? We know who our customers are. People come here for certain things. What took place in our store was horrific, but we're not going to stop doing what we do, at least not right now. And I don't know if the pressure is going to get on them. Social media is going to destroy them, because that's what we do now, is we go after everybody. Is Bass Pro Shop next? What else is? You got Cabela's, Bass Pro Shop, and then everybody in there, where, depending on where in the country, whatever, you have your own local place. Are they going to go after all of them? We're going to shame people. Shame, shame, shame. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Just remember this. That cheeseburger will kill you faster, and you are more likely to die from that and being sedentary than you are from a mass shooting or murder by gun. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show. Twitter! Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
We're actually here today to officially launch our campaign to win the great state of New Hampshire in 2020.
Trump tonight doing what Trump does, getting out there and wowing the crowd. We'll see. He's got a long way to go. Warren currently really rocking it right now. She's picked up, she's definitely picking up some steam. And Trump is not worried about one person named Joe Biden.
Sleepy Joe may be able to limp across the finish line.
I don't know about that. I read today that they were going to limit his public appearances because he's not good at them. It's kind of what I'm trying to get at. He struggles. But Trump has issues. The economy is one of them. And then today, Israel came out. While Trump, quote unquote, didn't force Israel to do this, he sure pushed it. 2 congresswomen, part of the squad, Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib, are not going to be going to Israel because, it's they have the right to not have them come here, and they think that they do not like Israel, which is probably very fair to say. And both of them support BDS, which is not BDO, that thing. BDS is boycott and divest as far as, what goes on, investing in Israel, things of that nature. And they were supposed to go there with a lot of other people from both sides of the aisle. And Netanyahu and them, they said, yeah, you guys are not going to come. And Trump came out and, he's fine with it. And he went after, of course, everybody and then some. Because people are saying this is ridiculous. On both sides of the aisle, by the way. I'm saying it's ridiculous.
You have lists of, this isn't just a one-line mistake. What they've said about Israel and Jewish people is a horrible thing, and they've become the face of the Democrat Party.
So, they're not going to be going, and I think that they should have gone. I do. I think they should have gone, and here's the other thing, too. Israel is our ally. The Israelis, a decent amount of them are, looking at the reports, aren't thrilled by this and what Netanyahu and them have done. And they have the right. Israel passed a law a few years ago where they have the right to essentially say you cannot come here if you are a critic of Israel. But they've never done that before. But you know what? We're allies, right? And the growing rift between Israel and Democrats is going to grow more from this. So I just didn't think it was a good thing. That's just me. Other people I got earlier, it's just like, oh, you hate Israel too, Chad. He's like, can't have conversations with people. You just can't. You cannot have conversations with people when they're just so living in their, their own world. And some of the stuff that people tweeted at me about how horrible these women are, have conversations. That's all I'm saying. You go, you have conversations. You want to see what Israel's like? Come here. You want to see what the Israeli people are like? Come here. You want to see the things that go on in our country and what we're up against? Come here. But they didn't. And they're not going to. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at me. We're not quite in a recession. I don't know if we're going to get to recession anytime soon. The indicators right now are we're not there. And we're not quite on the precipice of it, but we do have some issues that we have to deal with. And people are getting a little bit worried. And I understand that. And for Trump and his reelection, he's extremely worried because I look at data. And if you look at data, something is very clear.
Looming above everything, the 2020 campaign. The president also knows that the worst thing that can happen to him politically is a recession. Since the Civil War, only one president has won re-election if a recession has happened in the last 2 calendar years of his term. That was William McKinley back in 1900. So there's a little bit of history hanging over all this.
I call him Bill. You guys can call him William if you want. But yeah, he's the last one. So is the possibility that we could be entering a recession there? Yes. Do I think it's going to happen this year? No. And the fourth quarter is going to be vitally important. People I talk to are pretty still optimistic about it, but there are some certain signs that point in a certain way. And you know what? This is that thing that we participate in. We all participate in this, the economy. We all participate in the economy. And because of that, we hold the leaders, in particular, our president, accountable. You could be a great guy. And if you have a bad economy, you will pay the price. You could be an awful human being. And some people are saying Trump's an awful human being. But if your economy's roaring, people don't like to mess with that because they feel like they're shooting themselves in the foot. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. So Trump, I guess the Wall Street Journal got an article today that said people inside the administration have told them that Trump may not be serious, but has asked questions about buying Greenland. I was like, how do you even, what? Like, how would you do that? I mean, how does that work? So we go to Denmark. We're like, all right, here's the deal. We'd like to purchase this. Not quite sure what you guys are charging for it, but we're really interested in it. And I think we're going to give you a fair offer. And then how does it, we go get a 30-year, right? Rates are low. Now's your time. He's not serious. I hope he's not serious. I can see the look on the face of the Danish prime minister. Like, am I being punked? Is that show, right? Am I being punked? Oh, my Lord. As we head into this election, I want you guys to understand something. Peter Thiel came out the other day, and I didn't have a chance to talk about it. I want to talk about what is going on when it comes to social media and what's happening there. And for those people out there who think there's no bias in the world of Silicon Valley, you're fooling yourselves. There's a bias. And we understand how important that social media, good or bad, what kind of sway it can have and how important it is to all candidates. And he was out the other day talking about some of the stuff that's happening in Silicon Valley.
And I think one of the reasons the Republicans are so skeptical of the excuses big tech has for these repeated accidents is that the inside story is not good. Because on the inside, Twitter is not a company where you have lots of people writing checks to Senator McConnell. You know, if you had a lot of campaign donations from Senator McConnell, we might say, well, to Senator McConnell, we might say this is sort of an innocent mistake, and we won't complain about it too much. That's not what's actually going on.
Yeah, so they suspended McConnell's account because he posted some stuff of people coming after him, and on Facebook retweeted some stuff, and it was an accident. They said that they did something like that, but let's not. Understand the importance of this. This is the new town square, right? This is the new town square. And media plays a huge part in what's going on in the new town square. Social media is massive. And it's not all good. It's not. But when you have such a tilted thing that's going on, and I talk to a lot of people who are in my business, some are uber conservative. A good majority of them are conservative. And you'll find that there's some things that, like, they'll tell me, man, I'll get 50,000 views on this thing, and then I'll post something else the next day, and I get, like, 800 views. Right? And then I'll post something over here, and I'll get, 50,000 or 100,000 views, and the next day I'll post something else. I get nothing. No retweet, nothing. It's crazy. Well, the analytics change, but it always seems to only change. I rarely hear Chank from the Young Turks coming out going, God, they closed me down and they banned me or some of the, you don't hear any of that, Tom Hartman or any of those, but you hear it from a lot of other people. And I think what people want is just some transparency.
And it has sort of the feel of a very unhealthy one-party state in a way that's not good for Silicon Valley or for the politics of this country generally.
The president can't even have a fundraiser without the people getting bullied about that fundraiser. It's gone. It's crazy. It's right. Real Trump derangement syndrome happening.
Yeah, there is a bit of Trump derangement syndrome. I'm not going to lie. There is that. There is some of that. And the one party side of things is if you have 20,000 people working for you, 15,000 people of them working for you, and 13,999 are liberal, right? 500 are independent, and about 401 are conservatives. You can keep your mouth shut in a lot of ways, right? And the influence that these things can have and the algorithms and things that they can do. And we've seen how they've allowed things to be manipulated. We've seen a lot of different things. So there is that, even when they talk about AI, somebody has to program the AI, and that person can put in their own biases. And I think Peter Thiel is right. When you have that one party thing, and the problem is when the people on the right try and go to say, hey, we're going to go create our own free speech area, what ends up happening is you get the lunatics, the kookies, the white supremacists that come there because they've been kicked off everything else. And then you get labeled as a purveyor of evil and bad things. And so there's not even if you just want to have a right-leaning thing. So, yeah, I can see the frustration, and I want to see where this goes. Because this could be a huge thing if we find out how tilted it can get, especially with the way that Trump used social media. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. U.S. women's national team started their negotiation yesterday. We'll talk about that and how far it went and how fast it went. Chad Benson Show.
I, you, he, she, it. Lucy is a girl.
Point of personal privilege. Please do not use gendered language to address everyone.
Shut up, boo. Ain't nobody got time for this.
This is the Chad Benson Show.
That guy's got a serious weight problem. Go home, start exercising. Get him out of here, please.
Trump being heckled tonight by somebody apparently who is large, nutritionally overachieving, if you will. Good God. Oh, man. So the United States women's national team, they won the Women's World Cup. They want equality. They feel they don't get paid what they should get paid. They want equality. They get paid as much as the men. U.S. Soccer Federation and them are battling it out. It's going to go to court, but they wanted to try to sort something out. They want to go to mediation, have a real discussion. That took place yesterday.
One day of talks and they break down. That makes me think there's something very specific at issue here. What is it?
What is it? What is at issue here?
The issue of equality. I think that it's very simple for us, and it's not just about us, and it's not just about this moment. We're trying to do this on behalf of women everywhere to be treated respectfully and paid lawfully, and the issue is just equality, so that when we play a game, that we would be compensated the exact same that if a man were to play that game.
But the officials say that your council took, in their words, an aggressive and ultimately unproductive approach. How do you respond to that?
They said no. No, they did not. That's wrong. They got up and walked out. They got up, they walked out. First of all, if you want to be paid the same as men, right, and all things are equal, and it's hard to quantify that, because what they're really pissed about is the fact that they didn't get paid the same amount of money for winning the World Cup. They're mad at FIFA, but they're taking out, like, the U.S. Soccer Federation, the federation that the powers that be should have paid them the same. And some of the men have fired back and said, look, this is kind of ridiculous. This is silly. One of the men came out the other day and said, look, if it wasn't for us, there wouldn't be a national team. And, of course, they took, well, look how much better we are than you. It's like slow your roll. The men started so far behind the eight ball comparatively to where the women are, right? And you're going to get criticism. I get that. You got some supporters as well, and they're pissed off because they feel they should be paid the same. Fine. Pay them the exact same, except no more salaries, by the way. The men don't get a salary. All the women here, you guys get salaries from the United States Soccer Federation. That doesn't happen with the men, so no more salaries. You get paid as the games go, and go from there.
There's a court of law question here, but there's also the court of public opinion. And one of the comments made by a men's coach for a men's team in Atlanta.
By the way, the men's coach, I just want to point this out. He's the coach of Atlanta United. His name's Frank de Boer. He's played the game a little bit. He's 49 years old. He played for Holland or the Netherlands over 112 times. Been to 2 World Cups, 3 European championships, and at 49 would probably still smoke all of them. And he came out, and because the Netherlands have decided that they're going to pay the men and the women equally now. Equally. Everything's going to be the exact same.
The comments made by a men's coach for a men's team in Atlanta was that it's ridiculous, your effort, his word, because the international play for men is just multiples more popular than the women's game, and therefore equal pay shouldn't be considered. What's your reaction to that?
Well, they're pissed off. They're angry. It's silly. But they don't really want to address it in this kind of situation because, A, who he is, right? And B, they asked him a question about the Dutch team, the females getting the same. And he's right. Look, it is more popular. That's just the reality of it. Like, the professional golf is more popular on the men's side than the women's side. And it's a dollars and cents thing.
I think we would like to see U.S. soccer take a stance of leadership on this issue. I think we have an amazing opportunity to change something that has systematically affected women everywhere.
I don't know even what that means, but this just has to do with you. And the United States Soccer Federation's hired lobbyists. They've hired people. They're going out there, opening up the books, they say, showing everybody, look, this is what we paid you. This is what the men got paid. So there you go. So we'll see what happens. It's going to go to court. And this battle is going to get more and more. And I'm waiting for the WNBA to come up and say, you know what? We think we should get paid a lot more than we do. And we'll see how that goes. If they make the same, because they bring in the same, that's fine. If they bring in more, they should get paid more. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. Twitter, Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
The NFL, Jay-Z and Rock Nation, a joint partnership set up. And I find it to be actually interesting because you got to think about something here. Jay-Z, the music side of Jay-Z, you've got to break it down. And Rock Nation, he is now also agent side. His agency represents NFL players. So there's a lot of things that go into this, and the NFL is looking to figure out a way how they can, first of all, it's a business, and we're living in an ever-changing world. Video games, people like Ninja are mega superstars, PewDiePie, mega superstars, make as much money as sports players. They're disrupting that. We have a short attention span. No longer do people want to go to a game for 4 or 5 hours. They just don't. Stuff is slow. Kids want it fast. How do you do that? The NBA, soccer, one of the reasons soccer is becoming a bigger and bigger sport is because there's a finite time you play, right? It's 2 hours. You get there, right? 2 hours, boom, you're gone. It's simple. NFL's not that way, right? So they're trying to figure out what they can do. One of the things they want to do is make it hip. They want to make it cool. And the NFL and the players and the owners and stuff, there's a lot of friction there. So Rock Nation and the NFL thought they were going to do something. And it's weird because he represents players. He's got the players' ears, too. And this is one of the things about the NFL that I do like is the fact that they're willing to do some things that other people aren't. So Jay-Z's who they reached out to, and he is, and this is all about social justice.
Like everything else, it's slowly evolved, like a conversation as opposed to, I'm upset with you and I'm never speaking to you again. We're adults at this point, and the only thing, conflict resolution, the only way we're going to move forward is through conversations. And I guess my speaking out brought about a conversation, which brought about a conversation led to a partnership.
Yeah. And I find it interesting. Will it turn out to be what people want? They asked Roger Goodell, the guy that runs the NFL, about the protest.
I want us to take what they've been talking about, the focus of what they're protesting about, to go make a change in the communities, because that's what they want. That's what they were doing.
Yeah, and the NFL, we've got a situation where Kenny Stills plays for Miami, is pissed and angry at the ownership. Mr. Ross, who is a friend of Trump and is throwing Trump a fundraiser, and people are stepping away from his Soul Cycle and Equinox, some of the brands that he owns, and the NFL players are pissed because of some of the stuff that Trump has said and the whole kneeling thing, and that brought up Kaepernick. Because Kaepernick is represented by, I believe, Rock Nation, which is Jay-Z's company, and they asked him the question about Kaepernick, like essentially, why is he not in the room? What's going on? Just a question. Have you talked to the dude?
I would never tell you what me and Cap's private conversation was about, but we spoke, yeah.
And is he supportive?
I would never tell you about our conversation.
So we'll see. We'll see. We'll see what takes place. You know, the protesting, is it still going to go on? Is it not going to go on? We'll find out. I don't think it's going to be as big. Last year it wasn't like it was, and I don't think it's going to be as big going forward. But the NFL's making an effort. We'll see what ends up happening. Social change, justice, all of these kind of stuff. There's better ways, I think, of going about doing some of these things. And he talked about it. Hey, you got a platform. Is this really your best platform? Or could you do some other stuff? Because eventually, if you end up being out of the league, then that platform goes away when maybe you could still have your profile in a higher level and do some stuff and go into the inner cities and go do the things that you think you want to do to evoke change. I like Jay-Z. I think the dude's a smart guy. He's a billionaire. He's got his stuff together. He went from nothing and became something. That's the beauty of America. That happens here. That's a happening here thing. And he's always evolving. He's always looking for other ways to expand his business. So I like it. I like it. I like what he does. We'll see if it translates to anything. We'll see how long the partnership lasts. And again, it's a weird situation because the NFL has to deal with him and his agency as well. It's not just like he's the singer and this is what we're doing into a partnership. It's much different. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Would you be willing to sell your kidney, portion of your liver? Would you do that? Something to think about.
Have a heart? Then think about donating it.
Have you signed up?
Go to organdonor.gov and share the gift of life.
I clicked the box, but most people don't. And as a result, more than 100,000 people wait hoping to get a kidney. Most wait years.
1 of 3 waiting on that list will die because there's simply not enough organs available.
Whenever demand exceeds supply, black markets appear.
Single organ selling for up to $200,000.
Whoa, wait, what? That's interesting. And I know what everybody says, because I've talked about it on more than a few occasions. Well, the rich are going to get all the organs. No, they're not. They're not. No, but they are. But they're not. Trust me, if my family's not wealthy, our family's not rich, but if there was a way, if my little brother or somebody was sick and there was a way and none of us matched and you could pay $50,000 or $100,000, you figure out a way to get something for that opportunity. And if somebody who needed the money had an opportunity to change their lives, why wouldn't we want that?
So why not legalize the sale? Then there'd be no need for black market. Legalization would make transplants safer and bring prices down. People legally sell blood, plasma, sperm, eggs, bone marrow. Why not a kidney?
Poor people are going to be hurt.
Philosophy professor Sam Kirstein advised the World Health Organization, which supports the laws that ban selling organs.
Body parts to be put into Americans will come from poor countries.
And if you could change people's lives, why not change people's lives? Because the whole thought process, it isn't the kid down the street who needs a kidney and grandma and grandpa and everybody does what they need to do. They get to scrape together 25, 30, 40, 50 grand, whatever it is. It isn't that person, right? We don't think that. We think of some mean, evil guy, right? White guy smoking a cigar, hating on the world, going to dialysis, but has all the money to burn, and somehow they're going to go capture somebody and steal their kidneys.
But these people may want to make other choices, and who are we to tell them you may not?
We are people who care about people who are different from us And I don't want to see poor people in Pakistan having their lives truncated, having to go through psychological difficulties.
Deep moralisms about the dignity of human life being degraded by commercialism. It's all crap.
That's the guy who advocates for it. And it's funny what he says here.
Transplant surgeons make money, transplant physicians make money, hospitals make money, drug companies make money. Everybody can get paid except the person who's delivering the irreplaceable part.
In the years since Cohen first argued for legal sales, thousands of people on the growing wait list died. Without a financial incentive, not enough people give up an organ.
Financial incentives work for everything.
Yes, they do. And think about the money, potentially, that people will be saving. Right? Somebody pays you $50,000 or $100,000. They're on dialysis, all this stuff. All of a sudden, people's lives are being saved. On top of all of that stuff, they don't need the same kind of medical treatment they once had before. Well, Chad, but I know everything's evil and it's about the rich. We get that. But it's silly. And so when people tell me we shouldn't tell people what to do with their bodies, we do it all the time.
You've been talking about this for years. Why hasn't it happened?
There aren't enough people who want it, and so it just dies.
About 100,000 other Americans receiving expensive dialysis week after week.
Spending on dialysis alone accounts for nearly, get this, 1% of the entire federal budget.
Many of those people will die because no one is allowed to buy or sell a kidney.
Organs that could restore people to health and extend life are instead being buried and burned.
Yeah. By the way, that Cohen guy is in need of a kidney right now, and they have like they have Match.com or one of those dating sites, They have the same thing now where you can match up with people and you tell things about yourself and it's silly. It is ridiculous. It is. You want to be able to give somebody your kidney. And they're saying, hey, look, I'll give you $100,000. I could change that. How many of you out there, right? Like my kidney's probably worth $250, maybe $3. Never had a drink in my life. Never had a smoke in my life. I've probably got, somebody want to give me $300,000. That's kind of some life-changing money for a lot of people, right? I'm not dying. You're saving a life and you're getting paid? Feels pretty good. Well, people will be exploited. People are exploited in everything. And people are being exploited now because there is a black market. So it's worse. But when people tell me we shouldn't tell people what to do with their bodies, remember this. We do it all the time. And by the way, one nation on earth does this, and they don't have any of the problems as far as people waiting forever and dying on a wait list. That's Iran. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me, Chad Benson. I do like hearing from every single one of you. Congress, if you guys haven't heard, is upset because two of their members, part of the squad, Tlaib and Omar, are told, you guys can't go to Israel by the Israelis.
Two American Democratic congresswomen are now barred from entering Israel, and the president is okay with it. Israel's decision to bar Representative Rashida Tlaib of Michigan and Ilhan Omar of Minnesota came as the president tweeted that it should happen. President Trump said it would show great weakness if Israel allowed Omar and Tlaib to visit. Israel's prime minister weighed in, claiming the two are leading activists in boycotting legislation against Israel.
Yeah, I think they should be allowed to go. I think it's stupid that they're not going, and Israel want to do this, and I think Trump put some pressure on them. He tweeted out earlier about it. I think it's ridiculous, and I think the more that you can have an open dialogue and show your side of a story rather than what they get fed and the way that they believe, but that's neither here nor there, and they have the right to do it. It is their country. I mean, my God, we have a talk show host in this country who I'm not really a fan of, probably doesn't like me, as far as the content and stuff he does. Michael Savage, the British have barred him from coming. So it's their home. And if that's what they want to do, that's fine. But I just think politically, I don't think it's a smart thing to do. I don't. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. Twitter. Tweet at us. A lot of driving this weekend. A lot of driving this week. About 1,400 miles, give or take. I don't worry about my car. Take care of it. Do the best I possibly can with the things that I know how to do. But if something was to go really wrong, I'm covered. I got Car Shield. Absolutely. A lot of people out there are keeping their cars so much longer, and their warranties expired, or they never even had a warranty. And they don't know what to do because they don't want to go out and buy a new car, and they like to keep theirs. That's where Car Shield comes in. You get a 24/7 roadside assistance. You get a rental car for free while your car's in the shop getting fixed if something goes wrong. And that shop is the shop that you choose. They get them paid directly. You pay a small deductible, and away you go. Covered repairs have never been easier. In fact, their administrators at Car Shield have paid close to $2 billion in claims. They're ready to help you. Do what I did. Get the ultimate extended vehicle protection. Call 800-CAR-6000. 800-CAR-6000. Use my code, Benson. When you do, you save 10%. Or check out what they have. They have all kinds of plans at carshield.com, carshield.com. Remember to use my code, Benson, to save yourself 10%. They will treat you right. Small deductible may apply. At Chad Benson Show. Twitter, CHADBENSON. Chad Benson Show.
Set Chad straight. Text the show, 323-538-2423. That's 323-538-CHAD. Someone has to do it. Might as well be you. The Chad Benson Show.
The state of Tennessee gave 56-year-old Stephen West $20 to buy his last meal, and with it, he bought a Philly cheesesteak and French fries. 3 hours later, West was strapped into the electric chair and put to death. Eddie Campbell says it's about time.
Why it lasted 33 years, I just cannot understand that.
West was convicted of murdering Campbell's 51-year-old aunt, Wanda Romines, and her 15-year-old daughter, Sheila. The younger woman was raped before both were stabbed to death. West is the third Tennessee prisoner to be electrocuted in just 10 months.
And he chose it. He chose Old Smoky, they call it. Yeah, he's like, hey, yeah, why don't you give me that?
West was convicted of raping a 15-year-old girl and then torturing her and her 51.
But I want to know why the Old Smoky, right? So he was convicted of all these things. Took forever to get there. But they said, well, you have a choice. And the choice is lethal injection, right? The lethal cocktail of three, or something else. And he said, I'll take the electrocution. And a lot of people thought the reason he wanted to do it is because if he did that, it may delay, and it did not. It did not. Tennessee said, welcome, here's Old Smoky, and Smoky, do your thing, and Smoky did its thing. People say, do you believe in the death penalty? No, not for the reasons people think. I think it's a waste of time and money, and people don't get closure on it. It takes forever, 33 years, 20 years, 35 years. Most of the people are going to die by old age. It's just, and it costs a ton of money. At some point in time, let's figure it out from there. Right? It cost a ton of money. But he got his. Every time I think of electric chair, all I think of is the Green Mile.
The bunker was discovered by Hunter Thomas Nelson, who noticed the log door carved into an embankment on state land.
There's no way you could have seen this if you didn't know there was something there.
Nelson noticed the door and pushed it open.
And then I come around the corner a little bit, and there he is, laying in his bed.
He alerted police. The Marathon County Sheriff's Department says 44-year-old Jeremiah Button had outfitted the bunker with solar panels and a pedal generator for lights, even charging iPads. All items found at a nearby landfill. They believe he had lived there for more than 3 years, fleeing weeks before his jury trial.
Well, if you're going to do something, that's the way to do it, right? A bunker. Built himself a bunker. 3 years. How do you get food? Are you just living out there all Rambo style and catching stuff? And he's curious, right? Now he's going to probably have something not as cozy as that. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Shows your Twitter. Useless fact today. I enjoy giving you stuff like this. It'll stay in your mind for a long time. White elephant. Why do we call it the white elephant? It's a gift that nobody wants, right? Well, back in the day of Siam, white elephants or albino elephants were considered great luck if you had one. It's a blessing, but you must give it only the finest of everything. A lot of people that had them couldn't afford them. So while they revered them, nobody wanted them because of the cost of caring for them. Have yourself a wonderful rest of your evening. We'll do it again tomorrow. Have a little donut along the way. As always, night-night, Jack.
This is The Chad Benson Show.